Greetings, my beauties. Can we clap it up for us today? If you are new, welcome to the H.E.R community. I hope this is not your last time stopping by the channel. And to all my current subscribers, as always, I greatly appreciate you. This channel focuses on modest apparel, so I'm giving you some tips, some style, and fashion. But as you know, this is my style, so everyone's style is different, but I want you just to incorporate your style into modesty. We can still be trendy, we can still be elegant, we can still be fashionable, but in a modest way that is covered, but that we are confident, and yet we are chic. I also talk about lifestyle, so we will be talking about life. Life is lifing, so that's one of the things that I will be talking about today, as well as travel. So I'm excited to share this modesty journey with you. Now that we have the intro out of the way, let's talk. For those that don't know, I'm a mother of two. I have a daughter that just started her freshman year in college, and my son started his freshman year in high school. Take a breath. You have children? I do. You look so young. I know. You look like their sister. I can be, but I'm their mother. But life is lifing. These are all the things that I get when I'm out with my children, when we're on a cruise, when we're at dinner, when we're going into parent-teacher conferences, and they say, "Where's your mother?" Here I am. But that's not the topic of discussion right now. I'm sure we have some mothers that probably go through the same thing that I go through. But my main focus right now is talking about adjusting to life at home with my daughter being away at school. Oh, take a breath. And that's something that I actually had to do. So let's rewind a little bit, because I remember a conversation that I had with one of my friends. Her daughter had just graduated probably like a few years ago, and so we was having this conversation as my daughter was approaching her senior year, and she was like, how are you going to adjust to life, while your daughter's in school? Not saying that she's not coming back home, but it's always been the three of us. So it was me, my daughter, and my son. So that was something that have always been, they travel, they go on vacation with family, but it's always have been us. So I used to laugh and joke with my friends, and I'm like, girl, I don't have to deal with what you going through or what your family going through. I said, we're good right now. I said, I am adjusting, I am enjoying life with what I have right now. But fast forward, here we are a year or 2 years later, and I am feeling the effects of that conversation of what I had with my friends when we talked about her daughter going off to college, and I had another friend talking about their son going off to college. But here I am now with my daughter off to college. It gets real. I'm sure all you mothers can attest to being the personal taxi driver. We are their Uber. We are their Lyft. We are their Metro. Whatever form of transportation you use, we are that for our children. So I was used to sometimes transporting her to work, picking her up, waiting in the car, especially when she worked at Chick-fil-A, and when it was 9 o'clock, 9:30, or sometimes 10, you're like, are you ready to go? Are you off yet? I'm sleepy. Waiting in the car. So now it's like you're so used to putting yourself on a schedule because these are the things that you had to do for your kids, dropping them off, picking them up from basketball games, dropping them off at work. Or she was independent as well. So when I wasn't able to take her to work, she would take the circulator bus. Or sometimes she would take an Uber, but I was always very mindful and very skeptical about it. But luckily, we didn't live very far, so she didn't have to travel afar. But let me tell you now that she's off at school, it's like I don't have to take her to work. I don't have to tell her to clean the kitchen. Sometimes with your teenagers, even though they're young adults growing up, but sometimes we have to kind of remind them of the things that they have to do because sometimes they forget when they work. But overall, like I said, she was a good child. She's good. So, academics as well. So really didn't have to worry too much about that. But these are the things that I was used to doing. Even though I still have my son at home, he's the last Mohican. And I'm not an empty nester yet, but still reality of life is actually kicking in because, like you said, he's a freshman in high school. She's a freshman in college. So by the time you look up again, they'll be graduating. So it's kind of like, what am I doing? And I had to kind of stay busy. I had to stay active, but it's a new way of life for me, coming up with different things to do, even though I was really busy with my kids and transporting them to different sports events. But right now, like my son, like sports haven't started yet. So I know that I will really pick up with really transporting him and taking him to the mall with his friends. And you were like, oh, do I gotta do that today? But I think it's just a joy of just making sure that your kids is good, making sure that we're good as a whole. But it's just a new way of life for me. Drop a comment down below if you're experiencing what I'm experiencing right now, especially if you have a child that went off to school or just went off to school, but you still have a child at home, but you're adjusting to a real new way of life. I mean, she's calling, which is good. Like I said, she's keeping in contact, but it was like I was so used to being that mom and taking her places. So now it's like my son doesn't have a job yet. Like I say, he's just 14, just got into high school. But things I know that are really going to pick up as far as activities with him. So I guess I need to enjoy this break. Sometimes you feel like, am I not doing enough? To see if any other mothers are feeling what I am feeling right now. The adjustment of one going off to college, the adjustment of one being in high school, or just in general, even if your kids had left probably a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, how are you adjusting to life, especially if you are an empty nester? So on another note, let's just talk about some new products that I discovered at Target. Because if I continue to talk about being an empty nester, pretty soon I will get emotional. I just found this new product or products. It's called Bein Freshe. I'm going to show you just a clip of some of the products that I discovered at Target. This video is actually not sponsored, so this is something that I'm talking about on my own merits. But let me tell you, this right here, let me bring it closer to the camera. This, when I say, it smells so good. And it's a roll-on. It's a cashmere vanilla scent to it. You have to try it. So I did read up on the owner of the company. She focuses more on health and wellness and wanted to get, it's more like self-care and self-love. So she wanted to create clean products. I'm all about health, holistic healing, taking care of your body from the inside and the out. And I will be supporting her products because I was a little hesitant because when you try new products, everything doesn't agree with your skin or doesn't agree with you in general, especially when you're plant-based and you're switching from a new product. But I've actually tried one product first just to kind of see how things would go, to make sure I didn't have any reactions. But this, you gotta try. And I also tried her vanilla scent candle, which is vegan, clean, there's no toxins in it. And when I say I was lighting that candle every day and every night, it was setting the ambiance. It was setting the mood for me and my mental health. I will be trying more of Bein Freshe's products, so I just wanted to just start off gradually with one thing at a time to see if I would get like a reaction, or just see if the scents would agree with me, because not all fragrances and not all products agree. But anyway, I will be trying and just giving you an update. But this product right here was actually very semi-reasonable. It was $14.99, but let me tell you, the scent is scenting. It lasts for a while, so it actually keeps a good fragrance. So I was looking for a good fall fragrance, and this one right here is starting off. It's starting off right. So I will just keep you updated. Lastly, I was looking on Veg News, or it's called Veg News, which is a vegan publication, and they were talking about all of these restaurants that they were starting in California, starting in Atlanta. We want you to come to the DMV. Yes, we need you. We have plant-based and vegan eaters here. But for those that don't know what the DMV stands for, it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, not Department of Motor Vehicles. I actually had, or I know of somebody that been here, well, lived in Maryland, I'm not gonna say all their life, but transitioned here probably like a few years ago, and they was like, the DMV. And I was like, you didn't know, or you don't know what the DMV stand for? You better get your life 3 times over, because you've been here long enough. We're not talking about the Department of Motor Vehicles. We're talking about DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I like to eat, so I want to be able to travel to these restaurants versus having to go like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours away, or even attempting to get on a plane just to try some of these vegan restaurants. Kale, my name, come to the DMV. Mr. Charlie's, come to the DMV. You will not be disappointed. I want to try Kale, my name, versus hearing about it on YouTube, versus reading about the reviews. I like to eat. So come our way. Thank you for listening, my beauties. It was just great just to kind of just get it out and just talk about it. We should do this often. So comment also down below how often you would like to have a chat, talk about life. We can talk about scheduling spa days, modest attire that you want to find and wear, or trying to put it together, or your children, or cooking recipes. I love a good chat. So let's do that. Thank you, my beauties, for an awesome chat today. We need to do this often. So comment down below how often you want to chat. We can chat about our children. We can chat about lifing. We can chat about spa days that we went to, or planning vacations, or just chatting, like just in general. But make sure it's clean chatting. Make sure we can talk about fashion. Let's just chat. Comment down below how often you would like to chat. Let's just make it a Zai's Corner. Let's just talk, have fun, and love on each other.